The past tense of irregular verbs. Hello, my name is Profe Pablo, and I have written a series of textbooks and made videos for people to learn English and also for teachers to use in their classes if they'd like. I have two websites, Inglés con Profe Pablo and Pumarosa.com. Let me write these up here. Anyway, Inglés con Profe Pablo has all my texts that you can download. They're in PDF format. You can download them free. So today right now in this video, we're going to do the irregular verbs. And what I do when I teach, I always will pick a group of the most common words, a small group, as a representative of all the verbs, all the words that they will be learning with this particular rule. In this case, I teach that irregular verbs, okay, there are two groups of verbs in Spanish and in English, the regular verbs and the irregular verbs. The regular verbs are the verbs who obey the rules. They're good boys. But the irregular verbs, they're rebeldes. They don't like to obey the rules. It's like when I was a kid. We had kids who would walk around like this. They were wise guys. They were like being rebels, rebeldes. They smoked cigarettes, 15 years old. So now the kids, they put the hats on. Anyway, and I also illustrate that in Spanish, for example, when I was learning Spanish, I was learning how to conjugate verbs, and then I came across the verb salir. And all of a sudden, first person present tense of the verb salir was salgo. All of a sudden, there's a G. So I learned that some words in Spanish were irregular. So here is, oops, backwards. Here is the page in my grammar book. First, the rule is explained in Spanish. En el presente, el único verbo irregular es to be. That's the only one. To be is the only verb in the present tense in English that's irregular. Then I continue to explain, and here are the most common. Come, and past tense is came. Go, went. Eat, ate. Give, gave. Know, knew. And as I go along, of course, I have to explain various aspects of pronunciation. For example, in many words that begin with the letter K, we don't pronounce the K. Why? I don't know. I have no idea. As a matter of fact, I will tell you the truth. And as far as pronunciation of English is concerned, I haven't got a clue why certain things are a certain way. I'm sorry, and I apologize for the English language. I make stories up. I was in the library. I saw a big book, this big book of the origins of English words, and I was tempted to read it, but I said, no, if I study it, then I have to answer the questions. So here's 19, and then the next page. Okay. Then later I have the lesson on formando preguntas en el tiempo pasado. So that's how I teach irregular verbs. So there's a group of 20 common verbs. I teach the pronunciation. In the book, in the workbook, there are lessons, fill in the blanks and things like that. Again, I do not expect people to memorize perfectly after the first lesson. I consider the first lesson, like right here, this is like an introduction. If you meet somebody for the first time, first thing you got to do is remember their name. I don't. I'm very bad on names. But you get a general impression of the person. And, the second time you meet them, you learn more about them. You definitely learn their name better. You learn a little bit about them, their family, where they work. And after a while, if you see this person often, then you get to know that person as a friend and you learn more details. But that's the same as learning grammar or anything, any language, or no matter what. Learning to drive. When you first learn to drive, it's like an introduction, because you cannot, nobody, I don't think anybody can just jump into something and learn it like that. Maybe some people, but I don't meet them. And it's just a process we humans go through. Anyway, if you have questions, or if you'd like me to do something special, please let me know. I'm going to continue making these videos. Today is Sunday. Sunday seems to be a good day. I'm going to make a video of the present tense, the future tense. I divide the verbs into 3 groups: simple, continuous or progressive, and perfect. Many people confuse those groups. I once met a teacher who taught the present tense in the present simple tense along with the present continuous or progressive. And she had it was very complicated, because the student has to learn the verb to be first of all. So I always begin my verbs with the verb to be. I think I did a video on that. If you'd like a video of the verb to be in the present tense and the past tense, fine, I can make one of those. But please just drop a note. Let me know anything in particular you're interested in. I've got a million lessons, and if I have not written a lesson, I go to Google. Because Google has a lot of lessons. And I always look in Google. There's a lot of websites that have English lessons. Sometimes they're just in English, and sometimes they're bilingual. It depends. Sometimes English is a little complicated. Unfortunately, sorry. It is a very complicated language. Did you know that English is a German language, Germanic? Its origin is in German. But the Germans invaded England. The Romans invaded Germany, then they invaded England. So what you have in English is a big mixture: German, Latin, by now Spanish, French. And then when people began to move to America in the 1600s and 1700s, all kinds of people went from Europe. The British went, the French went, the Dutch. And when the Dutch came over, Dutch is a very difficult language. I once tried to speak it. I couldn't do it. They brought their words, and I believe, don't hold me to this, I believe all the words with the GH combination come from Dutch. But anyway, it's another story. That's it for this video. Thank you very much. See you later.